Good evening, dear friends. Tonight, Deep Talks is going to hold a wonderful personality, and I'm so really very honored that she has taken her time out for not only us but for the ones who have been trying to get hold of Snehal R.Singh. I'm so really proud of holding her tonight. That it was a wish come true for me, and it still is an honor for me to just see her live on Facebook. And I cannot thank Lord above enough in this journey of life where some people do connect and destiny makes you feel even more bright when you connect to such souls. So Deep Talks is really honored to have Snehal R. Singh with us, and Srishti would love to take the hold of introducing Snehal R. Singh. And I welcome both of you on this beautiful platform named Deep Talks. Thanks a lot, Srishti, and thanks a lot, Snehal, for joining in. I give my time so that Srishti can introduce Snehal and make us feel even more bright and better.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening and welcome, everyone. It is my honor to introduce to you our guest for tonight, Miss Snehal R. Singh. Miss Snehal R. Singh is a publisher and founder of Mind Spirit Works Publishing. She is also an abundance strategist, 10x best-selling author, writer's coach, podcaster, and international speaker. Her mission is to sow the seed of abundance in the minds of people she connects with, which would inspire them to live fully, authentically, and passionately. Her intention is to inspire and help as many writers and authors to get their message to the target audience. As the founder of Mind Spirit Works, Snehal is a brand in herself and is known for her work in the coaching and training field. She has worked with authors and life coaches nationwide and internationally. She has so far created four best selling book series like Coach Wisdom Volume 1 and 2, The Calling, and The Shakti Awakening. I would also like to introduce you all to Dr. Gurleen Khokhar, who is a noble soul and as a psychologist has interviewed many dignitaries both in India and abroad. The aim is to get them to share their experiences and achievements with the rest of the world. Today, Dr. Gurleen Khokhar has chosen Ms. Snehal R. Singh to share her wonderful experiences with us, and I request all to join this terrific conversation. I hope you all enjoy this beautiful talk, and I would love to see everyone sharing and liking this soon to make us feel bright. I leave the virtual stage of communication open to the public and ma'am for leading the way up. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot,
Srishti.
Srishti. It was indeed a pleasure hearing you talk about Snehal R. Singh and giving you an opportunity to just hold such a renowned personality. I'm so very honored. Thanks a lot and stay tuned for the show. Hi, Snehal. It's an honor once again and welcome you on board Deep Talks. It's been amazing to see your smile live on Facebook because I've been watching you, following you, and finally we are here.
I know it's amazing, right? How we connect today, and we
Exactly.
have been in touch for a really long time. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. And I've watched your lives in the past as well, and they're amazing. So I don't know what kind of questions you're going to come up with for me today, but I'm looking forward to this
It's
conversation.
going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because I have seen you speak a lot on topics that are so intriguing and so curious in their own ways. Because somewhere I feel Snehal R. Singh is made for larger than life concepts. Because I've seen your work and I don't know, I don't have enough words, to just describe the person you are, and you are inspiring so many people. Somewhere you inspired me also during my struggle. So I would love to know, Snehal, from you that you chose this career by interest or was the inner calling? Because I know that you are an author and you have actually done terrific work in the field of writing, and many people would love to know, was this your choice as a passion interest, or were you inspired by other writers and authors and you chose this field of yours?
I would say the field chose me. It
Wow.
wasn't intentional to be a coach or to be an author. It just I wouldn't say it just happened because everything is designed for a reason.
True.
but it's definitely the profession that chose me. I ended up becoming a coach because I just wanted to learn something new and I didn't know what it's going to bring. Okay. And
Wow.
then I fell in love with the art of coaching. And while I was doing that, I was trying to figure out how do I make my voice reach many. And my coach recommends me to go for a conference, which is by publisher, where all authors are
Wow.
going to be a part of it. And I get challenged and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll write, I'll just write. I have to write like one story, right? Let me do it.
Wow.
And that's how it opened up. And then few months down the line, I was creating a book with multiple people. And then it
Wow.
launched, it became a bestseller. And then everyone was asking, how did you do it? Can you tell us? And then I just started
Fantastic.
telling them, it happened. So I would say more than me choosing mindfully, the profession chose me in both cases,
Exactly. That
coaching
is
and
so
writing.
fantastically wrapped up by you. It is some amazing thought to this thought which you stated that the profession chose you. It takes a lot of courage to say that because you know what you have been through and you've endured each struggle. I know as a writer, as an author, you face challenges in your life as well. So do you feel that as an Indian author, there is a difference publishing a book in India to a book in abroad? Do you feel there is a difference and people do face challenges reaching out to the target audience, Snehal, because you have been talking about it and I have watched your shows, somewhere we connect on those lines. I did face my challenges, but I would love to know from you, because you are the publisher and founder of Mind Spirit Works Publishing as well. So people who are watching us and the ones who will be watching us later would love to know, how have your journey inspired those, and how did you start this Mind Spirit Works Publishing?
So Mindspell Works Publishing again happened because we needed to have a publishing company name because I had this idea of bringing people together and writing a book. And then I went to the same publisher who published the first book for me. And I was like, I have this idea. Can you publish it? And she said, no. I'm like, huh? I
Oh,
really need to do this. I promised people already. Okay. And she's like, okay, then you do it. I'll teach you everything. And that's why I chose to create Mind Spirit Works. Okay. The name just came to me when
wonderful.
it happened. But if you ask me what's the difference, okay, one of the major differences is automation. Um,
Great.
Success of any book ideally depends on the author. It's got nothing to do with what your reach is or how much your reach is. If you have
Oh,
a dream and a vision of what you want to accomplish, not just by writing the book, but after the book is released, then making it happen
exactly.
becomes easier. Most authors that I have connected with, whether it is Indian or anywhere else, okay, they start with with a concept of, Snell, if I could just change two people's life, if even 10 people
Yes,
read this book. The challenge
yes.
is that you're thinking very less for the time that you're investing in. Writing a book for
True,
some takes a year, okay?
true.
So the marketing, the visibility completely depends on how much big has my author thought. If you have thought big,
Great,
you'll always find ways. Okay, so it's got
great.
nothing to do
That
with that.
is
But yes,
that
automation in
is
India.
something that I even didn't know when I started writing. In fact, I knew that the vision has to be big enough. It is not a journey till that point. It has to be beyond that point. It's like
Yes.
transforming people's life. Your story has to reach to a level, and if you are connected with great people, then maybe you are lucky enough to get a good guide and assistance from people. So somewhere I think I was lucky enough to hear your Facebook live shows and get in touch with the curator, Jocelyn Bellows, as she guided me. And I was there as an Indian amongst all other 14 foreigners. And I feel that, okay, even if during the challenges that I faced when my mother was sick and I was trying to overcome my own battle of, divorce and all other things going around, I felt as an Indian, I need to just voice out my opinion that we should not be looking just for the moment. We should look beyond the moment. Is the time when you also spoke about the inner calling, and it was very well captured in my mindset that how a lady can actually have a lot of work and still prioritize her, book challenges here and there. You were going for meetings, and I was just trying to figure it out. Does this talk shows help people in figuring out what is their inner calling? I would love to ask you, Snehal, because everybody has a lot of work, and how does priority play a role in becoming a great author? because somewhere as a person also it reflects in the personality. So I would love to know what are the key challenges a person faces while writing, and also does prioritizing the work build up an author even more better?
So, yes, there are different facets to this. Okay. One is definitely how do you define success as an
Yes.
author? Okay. However, the best way to not only succeed, but keep that success going, because one book always gives birth to many. Okay.
Yes.
I
True.
have never seen an author who's written one and never done anything after that, all right? Or
True.
even talk shows for that matter. One always gives birth to many, and
True.
it comes down to why. What is your why behind doing this? So, what if you ask me, if you're writing because you love writing,
True.
okay, you are staying true to the craft and the art of writing.
True.
The success is going to be yours, okay? And then you need to
True.
show up. But if you're writing because it's the need of the hour, if you're writing because everybody else has a book, I should have one too. If you're writing
Yes.
for all of those reasons, then you may not be happy with the outcome that you're getting.
True.
Okay.
Very
So that
true.
is definitely there. And plus, you have your own struggle. So, um, writing is just like, meditation or motivation. You can't sit down one fine day and just write. That is something that, if you're gifted,
True.
definitely. There are many people who are gifted who just sit down once and they write. I have published recently a book of an author who wrote a story in an hour, and it's one of the best sellings. Okay.
Wow.
However, for the rest of us, we need to develop the craft. So it's
Craft.
like
Yeah.
you brush every day, you write every day, at least for 5 to 10 minutes. If you're not doing that, then you're not prioritizing writing. If you're not
True.
prioritizing writing, you're expecting fame, money, everything, abundance coming through it
Yes.
is not happening because you're not opening the door every day, right? So it's as simple
True.
as
So I can say that passion is somewhere related to the work you choose, and obviously your interest has to be there. Plus, you have to learn the strategies involved in, the same field, because every day you learn a new art or a new skill. I hope that what I am saying is that you're resonating with the same thoughts somewhere. And I was very curious to know about how you became an abundance strategist. How do you frame this when you have to say, or how do you define this to the audience in terms of the profession as an abundance strategist, and what is your aim behind becoming one?
So I have a simple mission, and that is to sow the seed of abundance in any heart that I meet. So that's
Great.
my intention, okay? Because it again stems from a simple belief. Now, we all believe in different things. We call it God, superpower, the power greater than us, or the universe. It doesn't matter who it is that you believe in, but if we are the child of the universe, the best of the things are for us. Now, you
True.
can be someone who works for a company, an
True.
employee, entrepreneur, or a homemaker, or just a simple mother, or just a student. It doesn't matter which phase of life you are in. You all can have
True.
abundance. We all are born abundant. So abundance strategist is it irrelevant of who you are, what you do for your living. You can grow abundance in your life, and you can attract it, and you deserve it. Forget anything else, you deserve it. All you need to do is take
True.
action. So that's my goal of being an abundance strategist, that whoever I meet, I can help you strategize your abundance and help you take that one step every single day to work towards that. So that's why I call myself an abundance strategist, not a coach, because coaching is not about telling. This is where
Yes.
I say I am a strategist and I help you strategize that. So, yeah.
Wow, that is fantastic, because something that people don't know very often because they don't express themselves so really well as you have. And there are many viewers who have joined us. There is Krishnan who is saying good evening. It's a fabulous, fantastic, lovely session. And there is Arasu who said, Snehal, absolutely well said. Even before you came live, he was the one who told me Snail is a great speaker, Gurleen. You're going to have a challenge, hosting her. I said, I love challenges, and that's the best part. That when we meet as friends, we connect, and there is a great vibe. And there is
Yes.
Ashish Mehta who said, awesome, this is a fantastic session. There is Pragati Singh Malik who said, well said, Snehal. So
Thank
these
you.
are the people who share their love and seeds of abundance, like you rightly stated, in the minds of people that you connect with. So this is the 64th episode, my dear friends, of Deep Talks, and I am with Snehal R. Singh, who's a great personality with me. I really have been motivated by her videos, and I am sure that this conversation you're going to enjoy because whatever she's stating is from her heart and mind, and she has a larger than life purpose on this planet. So, my dear viewers, just connect to her and me and watch the show and also share and comment because we would love to know who's watching the show and we would also love to have you on board. So when you say Snehal R. Singh is a brand in itself, I would love to ask how do one go about building a brand, Snehal? Because it is really difficult. With it comes a lot of challenges, and you have to face a lot of criticism as well, being an author, as a person you are. So, does that weigh on you sometimes that you are to, build yourself from a level where you are to another level? Because I believe that expectations, when you have your own expectations killing you sometimes, you do have that kind of a phase where you stagnate for a while and you surrender to the thoughts that, oh my God, another challenge and how will I brace it? So what are the tips that you have chosen in your life to build your name as a brand and do the best that you could in the worst of the situations? We would love to know the tips that you have implied in your own behavior.
I think it all began when I realized that I need to work for me. Okay. And when I say I work
Wow.
for me, I literally mean it. Your brand is an extension of who you are, it cannot be
Yes.
separate. Most entrepreneurs at times fail because they try to separate it in terms of personal and professional life. But ideally, we just have
Yes.
one life, right? So our
Yes.
brand is an extension of who we are. It has a soul, it has to have values, and it has to have, as you said, certain rules that you abide by which keep
True.
you in that framework. Okay, so what has
True.
helped
True.
me, as I said, the first one is I work for me, which means Snehal is the brand that I work for. So anything and everything I do, I act from the space of working towards that brand. So that is the
That's
first thing.
wonderful.
The
That's
second,
amazing, Snehal.
showing up. If you don't show up, out of sight is out of mind. So any brand
True.
will not create its awareness unless you have shown up enough number of times. It's irrelevant which way, what method you choose, but if you're not showing
True.
up, it's not happening.
It's
You're
not
expecting
happening.
people to remember
it
you
is it
without
is
them
something
showing
like
up.
you have to be seen and you have to be accepted also, because there are people who are seen more and they are not accepted. So people are facing even social media depression these days because there are not enough likes coming, and there are authors coming in every area and every walk of life, and random authors, like you said, there are different people who are just writing for the sake of it, for the name, money, or fame probably. So how does one cope up with these kind of thoughts in the mind that, oh my, if my book doesn't do well, I should not be writing another one? Because there are people who might not be the number one in the slot of the best selling series, but where do you catch up with these kind of things if people come to you and ask you as a life coach or as a publisher that you are an author and you've written books? So, did you think about aiming to be the bestseller always? And how did you maintain that? And if that thought ever passed you that, oh my God, if it doesn't work well, should I stop writing? Was this all thought about before you even started into it?
No, as I said, for me, everything comes through my life experiences. Okay. So I would like to
Wow.
answer this in three different steps. So one is social
Wow.
media, love, like, and everything. Okay. I'm going to
Great.
say this is the first thing that if you want to show up on social media, learn to detach yourself. I show up on social
Yes.
media because it's my place of business. If it's my place of
Yes.
business, I need to act like it, which means I show up
True.
irrelevant of
True.
people showing up or not. We open the stores, right? Even if it's
Yes.
supposed to be a slow day, you will still
Yes.
open up the store. It's the same
Still
thing.
put up the stall.
So
True.
just detach yourself from the love and like, because love and like is not a true reflection of your success. What's the point of having
True.
10,000 likes on a post and having no bank balance? Okay, so
True.
it has to have the balance of that. So understand why you're there in the first place. Okay, if you're there to
True.
connect with people, connect. If you're expecting the connect back, it's time for you to learn and take the feedback proactively. Okay,
True.
so that is definitely first. The second is, do I continue writing or do I continue any kind of work? I would say irrelevant whether you're a coach, entrepreneur, you have created a new product, or you're writing books, or you're writing blogs, or you're probably selling a hair based product or a protein based product. It is irrelevant of what your product is. The question is, Are you able to show up irrelevant of people liking or not liking you? Because the
True.
craziest people have made it happen better than anyone else. So it is not about acceptance. It is about you not
True.
giving up on your own dreams. It is about you believing in your own product. That matters more.
True.
You keep believing, eventually people will join you. And one thing that
Yes.
my coach said, which I would like to say here, whether it
Why
is in
not?
Twitter or social media, is this: if in case you're getting only love from social media or from people around or when you're speaking,
Yes.
then you are doing good, but you're doing really amazing when you have at least 20 to 30% criticism, because you're actually
True.
making people think there is disagreement, which means change is taking place. So if that is
True.
happening, that is the true. Even in TRPs, like TV shows, for
Yes.
example, it is
Yes.
considered, right? There has to be
So
criticism
relevant.
and
Yes.
constructive criticism. So don't take it
True.
negative. I would say you're doing something which is making people think, whether they're opposing you.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing.
True. So that's a wonderful tip, my dear viewers. Snehal has stated something that would actually make people think, because this is a wisdom tip that she has shared with us, and I have been inspired by it. I'm sure that the ones who are watching, they're already hooking onto the screens to see Snehal and listening to her, because I believe that there is a kind of awakening, and I would love to know what made you think about this title, The Shakti Awakening, because it is very, very intriguing to me, because there is a feminine power and there is something more attractive to this title, The Shakti Awakening. There is a lot of strength in every woman. And I believe the endurance of the struggles is definitely more in a woman, I believe. And this makes me ask you this question, because I do believe it is something more than that. So, what made you choose this title, The Shakti Awakening, and how did it go? How was the journey for you, our viewers, and myself? I would love to know from you.
So the Shakti Awakening is a title that came up in a conversation of two people. It's just not me. It's me and Pradnya Virnekar, where we
Wow.
decided to, give a place for women to feel safe and talk. And that's how the Facebook group actually came into picture first. And then we realized over a period of time that it's not just about giving space to speak, but it's actually telling people that speaking and expressing is important, because while times are moving, and don't get me wrong, I totally understand that there is still a lot
Still,
of space in the world where there is um, men centered spaces,
yes,
homes, they still
true,
exist,
true,
but there is a huge shift otherwise as well. But the women have been trained to think a particular way, speak a particular way, walk, talk a
yes,
particular way, that even when the
true,
family members have given the freedom, they haven't stepped into it. Okay, because
true,
of the pattern. So we wanted to
yes,
create a space where we're telling it's okay, the world is ready to accept you, but now you need to take that step. It's up to you
true.
that you step into your own power, and that's why we called it the Shakti Awakening. The power is
That
already
is
there. It has
fantastic.
to just be lit, and that's what it is. So,
It is amazing to think beyond a certain point, and yes, to break away the myths of a certain conditioned thought. It takes a lot of courage. So would you mind sharing one of your experiences where there was somebody who must have written a story in your book, faced a challenge while writing, and you had to give a little boost to the person that, oh, you can do it and you can overcome this challenge? Because I'm sure that you might have come across people who were willing to share their stories, but somewhere they went deep into their emotions and they were halfway giving it up before they actually attempted to take the huge success coming along with it.
yes, yes, yes. Because the Shakti Awakening, 24 women, out of that, only four were previously published authors.
Oh,
Rest all
great.
were writing for the first time. Okay, so there was everything. There were inhibitions about, can I really write? Is my English even good enough? Have I studied enough to write a book? Do
Yes,
I have a story to tell? So while we were battling all of those things, because I, as a third party, can see the power within you, but you're still not
true.
seeing it. So it was,
Yes,
while it was about them sharing their story, it was about awakening that power within as well. And then there was the
yes.
second part, one message, Gurleen, and I'm not exaggerating this, which I kept getting
Wow.
every time I got a chapter submission, was, Snehal, thank you for making this happen, or thank you for helping me write this story. I didn't even know that there was more healing needed. So writing actually healed many of them
Heals.
as they were going through. There were unprocessed emotions which were still there, which opened up. And
True.
that was the beauty about the book. And I think that's why it created an essence and a soul of itself. So
True.
yes, there was definitely one of the authors. I wouldn't mention the name, but she did
Yes.
reach the point where she said, I'm not sure if I really want to share this story anymore. I don't think I can write it. I don't think I can complete it. It's not happening. I just feel stuck because I'm still feeling the emotions. And we had to work through
True.
that. And there was a lot of, getting on calls, talking about it, breaking it down. But we
Breaking
did
it
get
down.
there eventually. And it ended up being one of the best stories in the book as well. So, yeah.
Yes. And besides this, how do you manage the, uh, stress in the life? Like, I would love to know, like, these mental health services which people usually provide as psychologists is taking on in India now easily acceptable by people. They can approach a psychologist and they are getting aware that bold topics should be talked about. So, do you think that these kind of shows do impact the mindset and people should ask for help if they are really in need of it, and even they should not compare their own individuality with anyone else, because yeah, having role models is a great thing, but just honoring your own abilities is also one thing. So I believe that it comes through the challenges that you face in life, and that's why I say that we grow through the challenges. But halfway people give up, like you rightly stated, there was a lady. And so I would love to know from you, how do you take stress? Because some amount of stress is healthy for life. And apart from that, if it goes for a longer time period, then do you think asking for assistance is a good idea?
I would say yes, yes, yes. It's all about being resourceful, right? It's
Yes.
apparently said that you're successful, or your failures are not because you didn't have money or time. It's because you weren't resourceful. So it is all about
True.
being resourceful. If I can't do it, stress is there in each person's life. It is
True.
not possible. Including children have stress, about giving the
True.
exam, or probably just performing in the
True.
school, or whatever it is. It is about
True.
channelizing stress. Stress can be your good friend because it motivates you to do a lot of things. When it goes
Great.
beyond that, it is important that you realize what kind of help. Sickness
True.
and help are two different things. Okay,
True.
fitness and again help are two different things. So don't mix that, guys. To be fit,
Yes.
you need to delegate, which means if I need to have the
True.
conversations, whether it is with a psychologist, psychiatrist, or a coach, or a mentor, or just having a virtual assistant at times, helps you. It's all
Yes.
about getting help, but understanding that mental fitness is equally important as physical fitness. Physical
True.
fitness, we all show off, right? We go to the gym, we'll
True.
talk to 10 people about it.
Yes.
But we go meet a
Exactly.
psychologist, we'll be like, shh, don't tell anyone, okay? We'll
Yeah.
warn the family members not to tell. We
Yes.
will tell
True.
10,000. It's the time to take pride in those things. It's time to
True.
say, hey, I needed help and I got it, and I'm now more fit than ever. So,
True.
mental fitness, mental health definitely is growing. People are going for it. But those of you who are rethinking it 100 times, I have to say, guys, this is for you. This you don't do for anybody else. And trust me, it's a blessing
True.
for the people with you, because when you work on yourself, you actually make lives better for others as well. You-
That's
you-
so well stated by you, Snehal, that we are working in for us. And it's high time that people should realize that we are not, comparing our lives with anybody. We are not following, or we are not in a race which is there in life. We are yet to understand that the awakening has to be from within. It is our inner self we are working on. And
Yes.
that's so rightly stated by you. There is Geeta Sharma who has said very informative and intricate talk. There is Anju Thakur who said absolutely right, Snehal. There is Saraswati Chandracharya who said nice and informative talk. So these are the people who are really watching and liking this intricate talk, because there is someone who's sharing something that's impacting the minds who are watching us. And I'm so sure it will be relevant for the ones who are watching now and the ones who will be watching us later.
Yes.
As we are through the conversation, Snehal, I would also love to ask you that being a bestseller, does it come along with a lot of baggage? And how do you deal with it? And do you think that every time being a bestseller is again a competition within your own expectations? Because it is definitely not an easy game. And it is like, you have been the creator of four bestseller book series like Coach Wisdom Volume 1 and 2, The Calling, and The Shakti Awakening. We'll come to The Calling, how you kept the name and what it is all about. But do you think that creating such an enormous impact on the mindset, you are having another vision which is beyond your thoughts right now, and in the future, you probably would go even to the extent of making it even more big? Do you have an idea or a vague picture of where you are heading towards?
Um, I would say I'm still heading towards the mission that I have, which is, whoever I meet, touching and helping them, or helping them sow that seed of abundance within them, whether it is through books,
Right.
videos, teaching, or whatever method it is. But talking about bestsellers, now here's the thing, and being a publisher, I am saying this, so some of you may disagree with what I'm going to say, but bestseller is a badge. It is all
Yes.
about, are you playing the game? And every time you play the game, you will stay in the game. It's as simple as that. Okay.
Yes.
So it is about numbers. The bigger question to ask is, we go back to what we started our conversation with at the start. What is your
True.
vision? What do you want after the book is published? And if you're gaining that or accomplishing that, then that's your measure of success. Don't let just the bestseller badge be your measure of success. Like when I did I Work For Me, which was my first individual book, bestseller was
Yes.
not in my to-do list, simply because I had not put in the efforts to build a follower base or anything at that point in time. Okay, I was still new. I was figuring it out and
Learning.
everything.
Yes.
Okay, so my goal for me, I had kept very simple. If I can, or if this book in next 2 years is bought by 10,000 entrepreneurs, I have done my
Wow.
job. And that was my
Yes.
measure of success. Okay. Now, through that,
Yes.
whatever I got, everything else was bonus, but that's a goal. So, keep a goal which may or may not be related to bestseller, because bestseller is dependency on others as well.
Yes.
Amazon that
True.
day, how many books got out, and all of those
Yes.
things. But if you have a goal about yourself, what you want to do, and that is your measure of success, you will at least know if you're progressing or not. Okay, so it's you
True.
competing with yourself, and as long as you're competing with
True.
yourself or your old self, you're doing amazing. The moment you start comparing
Great.
it with others, here's a question I want you
Comparisons
to
are never
ask.
healthy, I believe, Snehal. I think one
Yeah,
should never compare, because in the family also, I've seen people comparing their younger child to the elder child, and that there you go in the grooming, it is there in the mindset and gets conditioned, and there's stereotypes. And so this show is basically to break the myths of all those things that are already conditioned in the minds of people. So basically, a different show that brings on, the hard work of my own seat of thought that might take a flight if people start realizing that it is within them. Any challenge that they have to endure is a God's blessing, because somewhere you come to know that you have to grow through it. You can't escape it. And escapism has become a reality where people do develop the habits of manipulations, crafty ideas, and they do get over it with it for a short term period, which is just short term pleasure. But over the time period, they realized that they were at a larger loss. So why to have and face a larger loss than just to gain money and not gain the satisfaction that you can with both the things balanced at the right time? So
exactly.
that's why I thought that, there should be something more deep to the humanity, and the milk of human kindness should not die. So I believe that badges of honesty, hard work, they do pay, but one has to keep working, and that work should be hard work with smart work, which could be balanced in both the ways where a person is comfortable in its
I
in his own atmosphere.
I would like to add here definitely
Why
one more
not, Snehal?
thing, okay? And
Yes.
that is this. If you want that bestseller badge as an author,
Yes.
or if there is something like even as an entrepreneur, you want a seven-figure income within the first 18 months. It's a great
Yes.
vision to have, but then be ready to put in the work, which means hire the experts, learn from the
True.
best, and then go ahead and do the work. There is nothing wrong in having any kind of badges. Ideally, it's the
True.
best because a badge takes you to the next level, but you can't keep
True.
asking for it by comparing. You need
Yes.
to take an action towards it. So
True.
find the best people, do your research, invest in
True.
yourself and your time, and you will get there for
True.
sure.
True, that is a great advice, Snehal, for all those who are watching us, because this is something which is very interesting. I've never had a conversation just over this, that it is all about writing, and publishing, and much more about the facts rather than the myths about it. Because people come and they don't share what is the reality. So the reality bites seem to be a little difficult for people to share, because obviously everybody thinks that why should they share with the public what is the real scenario, because they're doing a business. So do you think somewhere when you share these things, it does help people? Remember any of your experiences where your fans came up to you and said, Snail, because of this particular thing that you stated that time, we are much better off, and our goals are much clearer, and the vision is more clearer, and it has become our mission now that through you we are here. So I'm sure there could be one of the experiences that somebody must have walked up to you right there on the stage or somewhere where you must be coaching people, and you would have had the privilege of knowing what what a great impact you made on that person's life. So one of the experiences, if you remember, can you share on Deep Talk so that the people know that this is what happened?
So the beauty about today's internet world is sometimes people do come back to you even after a year later and say,
True.
that thing that you said then has changed my life. And I have been
Yes.
fortunate enough, Gurleen, where I wake up every day with at least one or two messages, whether it is on Facebook Messenger
Wow.
or WhatsApp or Insta message or LinkedIn, but somewhere which tells
Wow.
me that there is something, somewhere, sometime that you said. But I would definitely like to say, it doesn't, and that's where I say your loves and likes on a post or a video do not define the impact. Okay, there was this one
True.
video I had posted because you're asking, if I remember, and I remember this incident. COVID had just started. Okay,
Yes.
and there was this one video I posted. It was kind of on the lines of spirituality, which I
Okay.
try to not talk about very publicly with all the work that I do, but I was very tempted to
Yes.
do it. And it was like I had to do it feeling. I went ahead, uploaded the video on YouTube, and I had only 7 views. That's it.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's it.
And
That's
you
fine.
wonder, right? This is my best content, and nobody has come to it, but I let it go. Gurleen, around
Yes.
6 months later, around December, I did this in April, I think, and I think November or December, I got a message from one of my very old students who took the time to message me saying, Snehal, I don't know how I came across this YouTube video of yours. I don't even follow you on YouTube, but it was such in a divine time that I was wondering if God really exists. And I'd reached that
Yes.
point. And you said exactly the same thing in the video, and it made me realize, yes, and he has different ways of getting the message to me. So
Wow.
it is not about you when you show up or you've chosen a profession of helping people. It is about
True.
you being the vessel or the medium or the catalyst or whatever you want to call it to deliver
True.
whatever your purpose is or what your calling
True.
is. So as long as you stay
True.
true to that, it will give you a lot of validations of what work you're doing and is it working in people's
True.
lives or not. And I'm blessed
True.
enough to keep receiving
That
that
is
every now
wonderful.
and then.
Yes, it's wonderful. That's how we connected. I think it's a spiritual calling that you rightly stated, that sometimes you feel the audience is just one, maybe five, maybe six people. That also never deterred me to conduct the show. Initially, I thought about it. Then I said, no, this is your inner calling. You just keep moving on, because this is something that might impact one or the other soul, and that's how it just got connected. And the connects was so fast that I had to actually book slots for the show. That okay, maybe I should not go beyond that thought that okay, it's going global now. I have to understand everybody's emotion, keep everything in balance, then mark the rosters properly, get back to them. So it was like happening. It's something rightly stated. If destiny wants it, it happens that way. it
Yes.
it carves a way, and you just have to follow. And maybe it is something that's collected with the inner calling. So I would now ask you this question: what made you choose this title, the inner calling? And it's something got to do with spirituality, I believe, and it is a divinity that's working wonders for you, because maybe you are the chosen one, Snehal, because you are impacting a lot many minds, and including me, because I believe that there is something that's working for us and for others around. And there's definitely Lord above. Without him, Without the creator, we would not be who we are today.
Yes. So I agree with every word that you said, and that's exactly why the calling was born. The calling was born because, as I said, I realized at one point in time that I am not a person who takes signals very quickly from the universe. I
Yes.
like messing up, falling down, learning from it, and then
Yes.
saying, "All right, I got the message." Okay, and then there are
Yeah.
these kind of people, who know right from the beginning who they are and what they want to achieve. Okay, and then there is this third category who's wondering, should I not? They're sitting at that crossroad saying, if I do this, then everybody in the society is going to accept me. They're going to say I'm doing good and everything is perfect. But my mind says I
Absolutely.
want to do this. Okay. So it
Yes.
was about bringing that synchronicity and saying, for each one of us, it's different. For
It is
some, the path will find you. For some, you would know the path. And for some, if
true.
you're at the crossroads, how to listen to your heart, because there's
True.
so many who have left, say, highest positions in finance and became chefs, and then they have been
True.
successful at that. Okay. uh, there are so many who have left the best of the corporate worlds to just start a very tiny, small, little home based business, which has gone international eventually.
True.
But it was
True.
about taking that risk of following the heart and not worrying about,
Yes.
as we said, the societal norms. Everybody else says this, but listening to what your heart is. And that's what the calling was for me. It was about bringing the stories of different types of people and saying, you may fit in any one of those categories, doesn't really matter. What matters is what
Yes.
do you choose ahead of you. And that's the calling.
That's so wonderful and that's amazing. I might as well have a look into it and might as well buy a copy of it, because of lately I have been too intrigued thinking about it, and now there's going to be an action and I'm going to have a copy. Maybe in the future I might have a signed copy from you, Snehal. That would be
Very
wonderful.
soon.
So there is a quote which I always share on my show. Today I say words define your personality, which you already picked up in the initial conversation. Maybe there is again destiny connecting on the spiritual angles, and there is a deep tip which I always share on my show. Utilizing new words each day in your day to day life becomes a treasure for learning a new language, my dear friends. Always try learning. Opening the treasure box of your words is what defines you. If you use optimistic words in your life, you will become even more better than you were ever before. So try learning every single day from people when you converse. Try to make the tone of conversation also a little polite and humble, because reaching the heights is something that people can attain, by giving money or by doing certain skills, expertise. But staying humble is something that people forget. Usually when they reach the heights, they are not grounded. They're not grounded to be humble enough. So my dear viewers who are watching us, this is a great message that I'm passing through my show, and I'm sure that Snehal R.Singh is also joining us in this agreement. What I'm talking about is that being humble and yet achieving a lot in life are two different things, and yet both can be there in a person. So do you agree on this, Nehal, that when you reach heights, like you have already reached a lot many fields of achievements in your treasure box, do you really feel that you are just when you are just in the cloud nine taking that achievement, do you really feel that, oh, now I am a big shot, I don't need to talk to everybody and all? So how do you feel that you are still humble and you would love to talk to people and express your concern, to communicate what you can from your heart and mind, so that others are doing really well in life, like you rightly said as an abundance strategist, that you would love to inspire people and connect to each and every soul, like you are doing today on Deep Talks? I'm sure you will be receiving a lot of appreciation after this show, because the ones who will be watching, they definitely would like your relevant information which you've passed on today on this show. And despite the fact that I could have been a bad orator, but God has given me the
No.
gift of gab. I'm utilizing it perfectly well. So I think with this, I really feel confident enough to break the barriers so that we can freely talk over these conversations. Because I believe that in the emergency situations or in the struggles, you become the real person you are. So we don't need to prepare a lot to be who we are, my dear viewers. It is just that you need to be taking action, and the initiation should be from the heart and mind. Obviously, the inner calling has to be there. So, Snehal, all over to you. What have you to say on what I asked?
So I'm going to say success is generally defined by money in many simple ways.
True,
Also because it's measurable, it's easy to measure.
true,
So
true.
one thing that I know and I have learned over a period of time is money doesn't change you. It only
Yes,
amplifies who you are. So if you
true,
are a people's person, you'll always remain a people's person. And the second basic law of the universe is give and receive balance. So if you want to give,
true.
give, give, and that's what is making you who you are and taking you to the new heights, you got to be humble enough to receive as well. If you're not
True.
humble enough to receive one day, where will you give from if you're not receiving? So humility, humbleness is the key to stay in existence, even when you don't exist.
That is something
So
that's so deep. And I would, before ending this conversation, Snehal, love to, you know, ask you this question, which I'm sure that you might be having many achievements in your life, but that one achievement and that one person in your life could be a person or a role model or somewhere, someone who did affect your mind, because somewhere an incident or a person or there would be someone who might have touched your mindset more than anybody else. So, would you love to take the person's name or an object or an experience or something that's larger than life for you that you can talk and pass a message to the audience through it?
I wouldn't be what I am, or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it wouldn't be for my husband. Okay, so if you met me 10,
Wow.
12 years ago, I was probably the
Yeah.
most irritating or cribby person who would find fault in
Yes.
everything and criticize kind of thing. And I met him like 20 years ago, and I'm not kidding, Gurleen. It used to amaze me. How can he be so grateful every time? And he always had
Wow.
this belief that when you need something, it will come to you when the right time is right. To understand him, I started the study of understanding how do these things really work.
Wow.
So for
Great
me, I think
revelation.
he is the key for everything that I do. And he has been that pillar who has not supported me, and every time he's support, like, you teach what you need to learn. For him it
Yes.
comes naturally, and to learn that
Wow.
is why I decided to do what I'm doing. So I think it's him that I cannot take
That's
off.
wonderful. I've never seen someone in love even after years of marriage and talking great about husband, because this comes from a wife and it feels so amazing because it instills a lot of hope in those people, in those relationships where people are still struggling. And it is amazing to see that that understanding is there within the mindset, and the relationship is going so really well. And I wish both of you so good that I cannot even describe in words how I felt while hosting you. It's such a positive vibe all around me. I always believe where love takes a seat, confidence gets a high, sky becomes a mission. Flight deals with the thoughts converted in actions. And that's why my counseling services office always opens the wings for those who are still to take that flight. And through this deep talks under Soch Ki Udan Desh Ke Naam, my transformational platform, I am intending, my dear viewers, to convey messages so that they can be converted in actions. And my dear viewers, it's never too late to get up and get going with your life, because age is just a number. Celebrate your birthdays, your anniversaries, and always keep smiling and hooked on to shows like this, where you can also get some kind of motivation through an external factor. It could be the guest who is inspiring you, it could be the host inspiring, it could be anybody from the audience, my dear viewers. So kindly share this and stay hooked on to our shows. So, one last message, Snehal, for the host and for the audience that you would like to convey apart from the love that you have for your husband. May God bless you with it.
I think the only parting words that I'm going to say is we all are born abundant. All we need to do is claim that abundance by taking one step at a time. And everything in your life right now, I know the times are not looking amazing, but I still have to say and mention this and remind you that everything is happening for you. It is not happening to you. Everything is happening for your highest good. Just trust the process. So,
That's
yeah.
wonderful. That is wonderful. My dear viewers, if you would like to connect to me, my email ID is gurleenkhokhar@gmail.com and my number is flashing on the screen. This is Deep Talks Virtual Reality on Love and Life. Parting a goodbye to Snehal R. Singh tonight, but waiting to connect to many more guests who are coming. So please stay hooked onto it while we say goodbye to Snehal. Thanks a lot, Snehal, for joining me
Thank
tonight.
you.
It was a
Thank you
pleasure
so
hosting
much.
you and a memory that will always remain close to my heart and mind. And I
Absolutely.
wish
And
to
you are a
work with you in
wonderful
the
host.
future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. God
Thank you.
bless.
Bye.